In the final episode of Masters of the Air, Gale, Buck, Cleven, John, Bucky, Egan, and the rest of the 100th's POWs arrive at a new prisoner of war camp in Nuremberg, and while there, Buck reunites with his friend from home, George Niethammer, who was a real person that played a part in Buck Cleven's World War II story. Throughout Masters of the Air, the show has stuck fairly closely to the real history of the 100th Bomb Group and its key players. In Episode 9, the show delves deep into Buck Cleven's daring POW escape in 1945. According to Masters of the Air Episode 9, Buck, George Niethammer, and another young man escape their POW status in April 1945. It occurs when the POWs at the Nuremberg camp are sent on a trek to Moosburg, Germany. After escaping the trek with the help of John Egan, Buck and George sneak through German territory, but George is killed by a young German soldier. Later, Buck is saved by American forces and returns to Thorpe Abbotts. Although Masters of the Air ending changed Buck's and George's POW escape, Niethammer's existence and involvement was not fiction. The real George Niethammer's time in World War II explained. George Niethammer is not a character made up for Masters of the Air. Niethammer was a real U.S. Army Air Forces pilot, present as a POW near the end of World War II. Though not much is known about Niethammer, records say he was born in September 1919 and lived in Casper, Wyoming. He held the rank of first lieutenant and was part of the 454th Bomber Group and the 738th Bomber Squadron. According to Honor States, Niethammer died as a POW in April 1945, leading to various questions about Masters of the Air's depiction versus real life. In Masters of the Air, George Niethammer accompanied Buck Cleven on his escape as a POW. In real life, this fact is true, and backed up by the 100th Bomb Group Foundation, which confirms Niethammer went with Cleven. However, it is important to note that Cleven's escape occurred in January 1945, not in April like the war drama depicts. Yes, George Niethammer and Buck Cleven were friends in real life. Austin Butler and Josh Dillon as Buck Cleven and George Niethammer Masters of the Air. Although Masters of the Air did not explore George Niethammer's fate, the show did maintain another big truth. Niethammer and Cleven were, in fact, friends from back home. While Niethammer grew up in Wyoming, Cleven moved there when he was a baby, and the two lived in the same county, Natrona County. Therefore, the two were well acquainted before they reunited as POWs. In this way, it makes sense that Masters of the Air would introduce Niethammer, who is another example of the ways in which soldiers managed to stay connected throughout the war.